We're about to get into some click funnels and talk a little bit more about small business, the challenges really of being a small business owner. And it's been a great conversation so far, just getting into how difficult it really can be and how much there is to constantly learn, right? How did you end up getting into deciding to offer the course and all, and then in the ClickFunnels? I just think that's so interesting.
Like we said in the beginning, when I watched my daughter, my 10-year-old, that everything is now MP3 videos. And so I was traveling way too much, going to those health expos, and spend an hour talking. And then I still had a certain amount of people, what I mean? I tried to capture their emails and addresses. That's really what we're trying to do.
Lead gen,
Yes. With a call loop, that they text me in. But then I thought I need to follow up with something more online then, because they might not be local.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how I got into it, because I'm like, okay, if my little one can, spread her message out to all America.
Yeah.
And she doesn't pay $2,000 for vendor booths.
Yeah.
Then I should get into it. And that's why I kind of looked around to find somebody who just gives me the basic information.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, it's such a interesting thing, right? Where you see your kid doing something, you're like, wait a minute, this new medium.
I know.
Is it?
And I'm like, how many clicks did you get? How many thumbs up?
Yeah, it boggles the mind, but people are willing to do, if you produce good content, people will follow you, they will like you, and they will subscribe. It's great. Great to see.
There's also one thing that I noticed over the last 8 years that I did was complaining about people telling wrong information on YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
There's a lot of that, yeah.
And so I was keep complaining about specific people who use Eardology in a wrong way. And that's why I got a bad name in America. They use it as a diagnostic tool, which is not true. Or they used it to sell their specific herb from the garage.
Yeah.
And everybody needed it. When you had this pigment right there, then you need his potion. So that was false claims.
Yeah.
And all what I did, I was sitting back and complaining about the people on YouTube, and then I realized, well, why don't I get on YouTube?
Yeah, rectify it that way.
And that was actually my push, because I'm constantly saying, oh, don't trust that person on YouTube. And I'm and she's like, well, are you on YouTube? And I'm like, I guess not.
It's how kids look at it is often, that kind of reality push sometimes we need when they're like, well, you say this, but
you're not.
And then you're walk away and you're like, wait a minute.
Yes.
You're kind of right there.
Yeah.
How can I combat misinformation if I'm not, on that same platform? That's so interesting.
And so that's when I had to realize, okay, the video cannot be more than 10 minutes, right? Because that's the attention span of my kids too.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, right?
And the rest of the world.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
it's going down, dropping off a cliff, right?
So when I gave too much content, you need to learn as a business owner, how much content can I give without giving away my magic?
Yeah, your secret sauce,
And that's where I still have difficulties.
And that is challenging, is how much is too much. And so, and that's where the sales letters actually work, and that's why they leave it with the ... at the end, right? Is they leave you hanging, because that gives you can start to educate yourself, you create interest, you start looking for more bits and pieces of information. And hopefully you've got another video that follows up on the previous video, so you can then tune back in and start digesting that piece of content. So you give them just enough to taste, but not enough to swallow.
How did you start choosing what you were going to make your initial videos on?
To debunk other people's YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
that's a great strategy.
That's a great start.
That was my dear honesty, because some clients come to me and they say, well, I went to this iridologist and she said that you can see, pregnancies in my eyes, and she can see if it's a boy or girl, right? And I'm like, oh my God, what a... Soon are going to be bleeped out right now. But that's exactly what I was thinking. And I'm like, where did you get that information?
Yeah.
Where did you meet the person? And she said, well, from YouTube and blah, blah, blah. So then I went on YouTube, and now every time I watch that person.
So, I mean, it makes sense, right? Where you're
debunk.
You debunk it. I mean, there's a lot of debunking channels out there as well. But for something like this, where it's, there's a lot of rumors about it. It's new over here. It's very different. Miseducation can be very dangerous. And so being informed, being aware of what's going on, and having a trusted channel that you can follow to understand.
Yes.
I mean, that's golden. It's created your own little niche, and long may it prosper and be successful. Because I think that YouTube mechanism is probably the way forward for you as a business.
That's exactly true, because then in this tiny little videos that I didn't do a lot, but it's just enough so that people see it, that I got invited now to a San Francisco Expo that I didn't even know, or I'm creating a course now in Boston for holistic practitioners.
Oh, cool.
That's great.
And I had a successful one in New York, and